Did he really just do that?
Did he just fall off?
Yep.
We're going live. I'm leaving.
Did he just leave instead of live? Leave and live
Drop
both start with L, but they're very different things.
There he is.
So the new Zoom update shifted where the button is after you hit Facebook Live.
Of course it did.
Walter. After 2 years of doing this. Anyway, welcome back. We're going live. Welcome back to the 52 Weeks to Wealth. My name is Walter Morello, and I'm here to, Ron, can you mute everybody for just a second? Thank you, sir. We're going to go through today's wealth principle, which is 51. 51 is learn to love solving problems for people who and get rich doing it. Before we talk about this wealth principle, have you ever thought, why don't I have the passive income I desire? If you've been involved in multifamily real estate investing, at some point you have had this question in your head. Hands to the camera if that's true. If you've ever thought, why don't I have the passive income I'm looking for? Why can't I quit my job? Why is it the property cash flowing? Yeah, I used to have the same question. And it wasn't until I discovered this principle and how to implement it that I was able to get the cash flow that allowed me to live my life based on my properties. I retired at 30. I was a millionaire by 32 and a multimillionaire by 34 years old. I wrote the book, Broke to a Quarter Million. And today I'm going to talk about wealth principle 51. For everybody who's new, on the 52 Weeks to Wealth, we take a journey through. This is literally 1 week left to our journey. Guess what happens on wealth principle 52? Does anybody know? Hands to the camera if you know what happens at wealth principle 52. Wealth principle 52 is sharpen the saw. We review the entire year's worth of principles one by one in rapid succession, getting the best recap. So we share a little bit about what we learned throughout the year, what our successes were. We'll be filling the chat. This is next week, so make sure you stay tuned. Log in next week, Saturday at 10 a.m. For this week, this last wealth principle besides sharpen the saw is going to be a game changer for everybody who's been paying attention. Hands to the camera if you've been here for the entire year. If you were able to be here since wealth principle number 1, think $1 million. Awesome. And wealth principle number 2, build a business that can make $1 million. Excellent. So when it comes to real estate investing, most of us recognize that we don't have enough money. We don't have enough money to buy the next deal. Has anybody in the room ever thought that before? Ever thought, man, like I don't have the money to do the next deal? Is anybody currently thinking, man, like where's the money to do the next deal? Yes. What about the second thing that we run into? I don't know where the next deal is. I don't even know what to buy next. Anybody running across that, what the right strategy would be? Excellent. And then you have the strategy, you have the location, and still don't know where the deals are. Like, who has the deals? Is anybody actually selling deals anymore? Hands to camera if you've run into that. Can't find a deal. Yeah, trying to hunt them down. Excellent. So wealth principle 51, to remind you, is learn to love solving problems for people and getting rich doing it. Not you, not solving your problem, solving their problem, solving somebody else's problem. Would you like to know the solution, how this wealth principle ties into finding off-market properties? Would you like to know how it ties into finding off-market properties? Excellent. So we're going to do an exercise like we do every single week, because I believe that exercises are necessary and they're fun. They allow us to actually take action after this, because this whole entire program is about action. It's about massive action, not small action, not slow action, but quick, decisive, massive action. And the way I stumbled upon this was one of my coaches was having a conversation with me. He said, Walter, if you want more deals, then why don't you just give people who have deals what they're looking for? And I said, well, what do you mean? Like the sellers, the people who own the houses? And he said, no, the people who know the sellers, the people who are talking to the sellers, people who are in contact with the sellers, and that's their job. He said, why don't you just talk to the person who has all the sellers, who knows all the sellers, and just ask them what they're looking for. Hands to the camera if you kind of know where I'm going with this. It sounds familiar. It sounds like something I've talked about in the past. So drop it in the chat. Who knows all the sellers? Who would know all the sellers in a market? Who would know who is looking to sell, interested to sell? That it's their job. It's literally what they do for a living. Any guesses? Yes, real estate agents, that's one. Very good. Real estate agents, it's their job to know inventory, to know who's selling, who's not. Lenders may know somebody who's tried to do a refinance and couldn't get it through. Property managers, for sure, for certain property managers know who's selling. It's usually the person who's losing money on the property, right? Attorneys, yes, especially probate attorneys would know who's looking to sell. Divorce attorneys might know who's looking to sell. Hands to camera if this is making sense. These ladies and gentlemen are in the business. What about wholesalers? Real estate wholesalers who are calling all day, dialing, emailing, door knocking, texting people, trying to figure out. So you pick one niche and you grab a whole bunch of them. You don't have to do all the niches, just one, right? If you're reaching out to all the divorce attorneys in your area, cool. If you're doing all the probate attorneys in your area, awesome. If it's all the real estate agents, if it's all the wholesalers, the idea is you want to get really good at one niche, get really good at having a particular conversation with one group of people. And if you could do that, you're solving the problem that they have. They have a client who's frustrated, or they have a seller who needs to get rid of the property. For attorneys, they need a BPO done, whether it's a divorce or a death. If it's a wholesaler, they want the commission. So you just agree to pay them, not a commission. Agents would be a commission. Wholesalers, they want a fee. All right, is this making sense? We understand how to get more deals right now with a couple of Facebook groups, with a couple of look up the phone book, who are the local attorneys. Real estate agents, they're easy. Go on Zillow, go on Trulia. You're going to find all the real estate agents in your market. Hands to camera, if this is an action step you could take this week, you could do it literally today. This would not be a lot of work for you. Excellent. Please write this one down if it's something you're serious about doing, if your deals were the issue. What about negotiating with those sellers? Has anybody ever had a seller that didn't want to negotiate with them? They didn't want to bring the price down? Yes. Learn to love solving problems for people and getting rich doing it. Negotiate with a seller by finding what they're looking for. Actually, Drew Martin's on the call. Drew is a master of negotiating with sellers. He just asks them, what, why are you selling? Right? Where are you looking to go? What are you looking to do? Right? He runs through his list of reasons why a seller might be interested in selling. He just asks those probing questions and then finds out. Once he has the pain point, he knows it's a lot of it is a timeline. Drew, is that right? You're looking for the timeline a lot of times, right? They need to move.
Timeline is right. Yep, timeline is right, and like to do a lot of what I call menu selling now, and giving people options, different exits of the of the property that they're in and the situation they're in, and ways that we can help them.
Awesome. Let's give Drew Martin a round of applause. Valuable. Anybody that doesn't know, Drew did over him and his partner netted over $1 million in flips last year in North Carolina. They picked up a couple multifamilies as well. And he was originally a wholesaler. That's how we got into this. He was wholesaling. That's not always the path we suggest, but Drew did it the hard way. He knows deals. He knows how to negotiate. He knows how to find properties. It's in his blood now. He couldn't get it out if he tried. He actually started off as a lender and it somehow worked his way backwards into real estate. And now he's a landlord and he's closing a lot of deals with partners all over the country. So the other problem, the big problem, right? The big one. If I found you a deal, the next problem is the money, right? Who believes that if the deal was too big, you wouldn't have enough money, right? Everybody on this call, if the deal was too big, you wouldn't have the funds to do it. Right? We'll say, because I know some of you guys are millionaires and multimillionaires. So we'll say it's a $10 million deal, right? Answer the camera if that dries everybody up, right? $10 million deal. Okay, good. So if that's the situation, we go back to wealth principle 51 and we operate the same way. Learn to love solving problems for people and getting rich doing it. What problems would a seller have, or what problems would somebody who's holding too much cash have? In fact, I was talking to my business partner this morning. I was talking to Ron and I said, Ron, you know who I want to work with? People whose pockets have like money in it and it's burning a hole in them. Has anybody ever heard somebody say, man, I just got to get this money into something. I just got to invest in something quick. Yes. I got to invest. I get this message all the time. Oh my God, it's crazy, man. Like, don't ask me crypto questions, right? I'm just saying this now. Ask Mitch Jorsky. He's the one who wrote the Scaredy Cat guide to knowing what the heck Bitcoin is. Mitch, are you on the call? Can you wave your hand so everybody knows who Mitch Jorsky is? Mitch is my advisor in crypto. So don't ask me crypto questions, ask Mitch crypto questions. But I get this asked a lot. Like, what coin should I invest in? I've got a bunch of money, and it's just burning a hole in my pocket. I don't know, do your research, right? Talk to Mitch, have the conversation, go to his mastermind, like figure it out. But I'm the real estate guy, right? I want to see you do well in real estate. And if you've got the problem of money burning a hole in your pocket, that's because you don't know the investment class, right? Like I never have, the money's never sitting there burning a hole. The money's sitting there for a reason, right? Hands to camera if you know that's true for you as well, right? The money is sitting there for a reason. Well, there are people out there in the world who are suffering. Actually, some of my friends here on the call are suffering too. Suffering, the man, there's too much money sitting here. I got to move it into something. I just got to go somewhere. And you got to solve that problem for them. But these people are smart, right? They're not about to go put it into 5% interest, loans. Like we were talking about earlier on the call, like 8% deals. So like in this community, man, they're looking for 12%. They're looking for equity. They're looking for 15%. Outside of this community, they would do 3% because the bank's getting nothing right now. Does that make sense? Where you shop for funds dictates the problems you're solving. Somebody who's getting 0% interest, under 1% interest on their money, a 3%, a 5%, a 6%, an 8% is mind-blowing. Does that make sense? Without losing their capital. This is not putting it in the stock market and it goes, woo, woo, woo. Who knows? Anybody watch the stock market this week? It's going down. What about those crypto investors? 40% loss in the last month, 40% drop all across the board. Right now, a couple months ago, I was like, damn, like I wish I had more crypto exposure. Right now, I'm like feeling good about real estate. Hands to the camera if my real estate investors know what I'm talking about. This is a reality. Right now, you can raise more capital than you've ever had access to just by asking and saying, hey, what is the return you're getting right now on the cash in the bank? What is the return you're getting right now? How would you like to have that same balance and earn on it? Get a little bit. What do you get right now? What would be a good return for you? And especially sellers, man, you want low interest rates? Ask the seller for partial seller financing. It's okay if you know that they're solving a problem when you do that, right? You're solving a lot of problems. Remember, fall in love with solving problems for people and getting rich, doing it. Wealth principle 51. Look for the problems. If somebody has a house and they want to get rid of the house because they don't like the house anymore, but they want the cash, right? They never stopped loving cash. I don't know too many people who stop loving this stuff. Hands to the camera if you know the world's addicted to this. Yeah. That's why we're all on the call. Who wants to make more money this year? Yes? Who wants to do it with less time, less effort, less work? Awesome. We're in the right room. Okay. Well, the rest of the world wants this even worse. They want it so bad. That's why they go to work for 40 hours a week, right? Some of them working 50 hours, 60 hours a week just to get enough to show back up on Monday so that by Friday they feel excited that they made some money, but by Monday they're just over broke and they got to come back to work. Does that make sense? Yes. And by the way, I strongly encourage anybody who has a job, keep working your job. It makes sense to do it for some time. The Science of Getting Rich talks about if you want to go do a new thing, you still have to do the old thing you've been doing for a while until you've put those steps in place to get to the new thing you want to do. So I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow. I made that mistake back in 2000 and I can't remember what year I quit my job, 2012. Right? Don't do what I did, do what I learned from. All right. I had to struggle the next 2 years to get myself back to where I should have been. I could have done it a lot faster. So with real estate investing, we have to solve problems. And these sellers, the motivated sellers, have reasons to want to give you money. One, they don't want to pay taxes on the property. They don't want to pay taxes on the gain. Two, it's too much money for them. Some of them are scared to have all that money in the bank account. They don't know what to do with it. Three, they're going to get paid in interest. Some of these investors, some of the people who you're buying, especially multifamilies, they've gotten used to the rents. They've gotten used to the cash flow. And so part of the reason they don't want to sell is they're losing their passive income. So to be able to switch over to owning a note, and by the way, you phrase it this way, by the way, the goal to being a real estate investor is always to become a lender, right? Step one, the banks are the ones who make all the money. Remember, they line their walls with marble. Only two entities that do that. It's Catholic Church and the banks, right? So the people with all the money line their walls with marble. And I think the White House is like that too, and the Taj Mahal. So think about it. if you can kind of create that concept in the person's head that they want to do the next level, the next degree of investing, which is be the bank now, and that's a stream of passive income. It's interest, so they're paying passive income instead of active income, and it delays them having to pay the taxes. So if they give you 25% that mortgage for the down payments, holding the second position, they don't have to pay taxes on that percentage that they did not take a gain on yet. Only in the year that you do your refinance and cash them out would they have to pay taxes. So they can, in many cases, delay the taxes over a year or two. And it's again, if you start seeing the value to borrowing money, lending money, solving problems for people and getting rich doing it. Wealth Principle 51. So the process is easier said than done. I know I said it really simple. There's going to be questions at the end of this call. We'll say around maybe 10:45. Ask your questions. We'll bring everybody who's sitting out in the waiting room, bring everybody in. You can open up, just ask any questions you have. And any questions you have right now, just drop it in the chat and we will grab them at the end. For submitting offers, real estate agents, right? Real estate agents want commissions. Wholesalers want commissions. Solve the problem for them. Like, you don't have to submit your own offers. Let somebody else go and do it, right? This way you can submit a lot of offers every day, 5 offers a day. Why not? Or at least 5 offers a week. Hands in camera, if you'd be interested in doing a weekly names on deeds challenge, like it'd be a 5-day names on deeds challenge, something you, me, all the community, we get together, we make this a big deal. And for 1 week, 5 days in a row, we put at least 1 offer in. Hands in camera, if this is something you would commit to doing with us. All right, we'll see. So Darina is, I can see her eyes. She's already like, all right, that sounds like fun. Let's do it. Okay, cool. So we'll let you know when we're gonna get that started, and it will come soon, because we've got to take action, guys, gals, right? This is 2022. This year will not come back again. This is January. It's almost over, right? We've got to move quickly in order to hit our goals. You don't get the success from timing the market. Look at the crypto guys right now, getting crushed, getting beat up. Oh, I should have waited to buy, right? No, time in the market is what helps you win. Like Drew Martin has been in the crypto market for a long time. He doesn't care. He bought what Bitcoin was like under 10 grand, right? Or 3 grand. Drew, when do you buy? Yeah, you muted.
7,000.
7,000
when I bought it initially. Yep. But yeah, I mean, this roller coaster that we're on, I mean, it's just a buying opportunity. It all is to me. But yes, I mean, if you bought 3 months ago at the top, then yeah, I'd be scared too. But at the end of the day, it's about where crypto is going to be 10 years from now, not where it is right now, or 5 years from now, for that matter.
All investments have to be looked at that way. Let's give Drew Martin one more round of applause. It's true. Time in the market, not timing the market. Every month you're not in real estate is 1 month of rent you didn't collect. It's 1 mortgage payment you didn't get taken care of. It's 1 more month of equity you didn't have. And it's 1 less deal you're capable of buying because you can't say I have experience, right? Once you lock a deal down, you own a property, you could say you got experience. Does this make sense?
Yep.
Once you got experience, it's like that opens up so many doors. No more need for key principles, which, by the way, don't let having no experience be an excuse. You can still get a key principle. Somebody can come in and invest in the deal for you. So this wealth principle, it goes beyond just the business. It goes beyond real estate. It goes beyond just money. Answer the camera if you want to make your spouse happier. All you have to do is show them, like, learn what their problems are. What is the problem that you're having right now? If you want to improve the relationship you have with your business partners, you want to improve the relationship you have with your kids or your parents, ask them, hey, what bothered you this week? What's the biggest challenge you got going on? What's the biggest pain point? Hands to camera, if you went around doing this, you'd have a much better relationship life. Like, yeah, right? Just check in with people now and then. Check in with your students, right? We do that often. Hands to camera, if you've gotten a message from me within the last month, me just check it in, making sure that, I know where you're at, everybody's okay. Awesome. Excellent. If I haven't, message me. I'm wondering. I'm wondering how you're doing. Check in with me. On alchemistnation.com, you can go create your free account, send me a message there. I'm really doing my best not to check other messages. I did clean up LinkedIn today. I was like 2 months behind. Alchemist Nation, I stay on top of it. Super easy, 1 platform. It's faster than the other platforms for me. So definitely send me messages there. Makes it a lot easier. We've got we've got a couple of years left before this market makes maybe a correction. It could correct tomorrow, but I think that 2024 is a good gauge to keep an eye on for the market. And I think that each one of you has some time. As long as you're buying cash flowing rental property, it does not matter what the market does. It does not matter if it goes up. It doesn't matter if it goes down. But if you learn to love solving problems for people and are okay with getting rich doing it, okay with charging, okay with getting it at the right price, you can change your income. You can change your net worth in a year. In a year, you can do it. I was on a call this morning at 9 o'clock with a potential student. He's going to sign up for the mentorship. You know what he told me? He said, "Man, I want to retire in 3 months." Because I told him, it's all relative. Whatever you say, I can do. He's like, "Well, 3 months. I want to retire." I was like, "All right. Well, you want to retire in 3 months? You better sign up for the mentorship yesterday. Let's sign up now." He's like, "Well, I just signed up for a program. It was like $5,000." And actually, he's on the call right now, so I won't shout out his name. But he said that, I signed for a program that's $5,000, and I don't really have the funds, they're not there yet. So it's like, all right, like that's cool. I understand when you get the funds together. Just know that every week that goes by is one more week you're not financially free, right? My millionaires know what I'm talking about, right? The financial free know what I'm talking about. Like that's one more week that you don't get to live like this. And until you're financially free, you won't understand what that means. But the day that you never have to go to work again, you choose to, or you want to, that's, man, like you could never be employed again. Hands to the camera to my unemployable people, the people who could never go back and work for somebody else right now. Absolutely. Let's give yourselves a round of applause. It's not easy. It's not easy. Like the only person I ever considered working for recently was Grant Cardone. I love his mission. I love what he's doing. And I had a very serious conversation with Dorina and Ron. I was like, I might go do it just to be in the room of greatness. Hands to camera, if like you could understand that, just to be around like that kind of mindset, those people. Like I would put the hours in, I would pick up the phone just to be around those people. And then I realized I'm building a community that's full of those people. I can just show up on Saturday and on Monday and in the community, and I've got access to each one of you every day of the week. Can't feel that's powerful. It's a powerful community right here. Awesome. So everybody who is watching, who's never jumped into the mentorship, I apologize. It's my fault. I wasn't compelling when I spoke to you. I wasn't teaching when I had the conversation. I didn't make it obvious the successes that were gained. Hands to the camera if you are in the mentorship or have graduated already and are still getting feedback and connecting with people and getting value from us. Awesome. I love it. Give yourselves a round of applause. I love your success. It's a mission to build 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. I can't do it without you, right? You got to have the drive first. You got to want it bad enough. You got to believe inside of you that 1, you can become a millionaire, right? It's possible. 2, that it's worth doing, right? That's worth doing. And for some of my millionaires who are listening, we're not talking millions for you guys and gals. We're talking about 5 million. We're talking about 10 million, right? That is possible. That is worth it. That is valuable. There's a reason to do it. And then 3, you've got to decide to do it. You got to just decide that this is what we're going after, that this is what we're doing. And once you decide, then everything else clears out of the way. You start asking the right questions. You start talking to the right people. You start putting the deals together. You start doing things. Hence the camera if you recognize that's true. The mentorship is just a tool to do it faster. I know you're going to be successful because you're here. You're driven. You're motivated. You want to get things done. All we did was create the tool that speeds things up. All we did was create the network and the resources and the education to get you moving faster. Hands the camera if that's cool. I built what I wanted. I built what I wish existed when I started. Hell yeah. Now, my favorite part is coming up. My favorite part of the week is coming up. But before we dive into the questions from the coaches, my second favorite part, maybe my first favorite part, the book of the week. Mike Shine, keeper of the books. What is this week's book of the week?
Hey, Walter, can you hear me?
Hey, you're loud and clear, Mike.
Oh, nice. All right. So this is, of all 52 books, this is probably my favorite book just for fun. It's Blue Fishing by Steve Sims. And you can listen to it on Audible. This guy, Steve Sims, is so entertaining. He came from a family of bricklayers. And he said one time he was climbing up the ladder with a ton of bricks. And he looked over to the side and he saw like his father, his uncle, and they were all carrying bricks up. And he said, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And he changed his whole life, and it's perfect for this. Sometimes Walter and I try to get a theme that fits, and it doesn't always fit perfectly, but this one fits perfectly because Steve Sims, all his success was from figuring out what other people needed and helping them. He became like a bouncer, and then he started just helping people. He went on to help like billionaires like Elon Musk just do fun things. There was one example, not with Elon, but of someone who wanted to be James Bond. And so he figured out a way to do the whole thing. And they had Monaco and Russia and, obviously beautiful women because it's 007, but he actually made it happen. And so if you read the book, you get some really good ideas because a lot of what Steve does, it doesn't cost him any money to do it. It's a great book. So Blue Fishing is the book. You'll enjoy it. Watch it, listen to it on Audible or read it. And so Blue Fishing, Steve Sims, highly recommend. Thank you.
Let's give Mike Shine a round of applause. This is, like Mike said, just a fun book that totally changed my perspective. It's where I came up with the Ask Why 3 times. And it's basically where we came up with this wealth principle. If you go to Alchemist Nation on iTunes, if you go to my podcast on iTunes, I was actually blessed to have the opportunity to interview Steve Sims, episode 137, which only came because I asked somebody that I was in a mastermind with what I could do for them. I said, man, what are you looking for? What are you looking for? And he said, well, I'd really like more people in my community. So I invited Mike Shine in. And then he asked me, what can he do for me? And I said, well, I'm really looking to get some cool people on my podcast. Who do you know that's really cool? And he said, well, I know just about everybody. I was like, well, here's a couple of guys that I really like, Steve Sims. And he's like, oh, I know Steve. I was like, really? I was like, cool. I want to get him on the podcast. And then he connected me with Mark Victor Hansen, connected me with Robert Allen, who wrote the 1 Minute Millionaire together, and Steve Sims. And some of these other guys that I've been connected to just came from looking to solve other people's problems, and they were looking to solve my problems. That's cool. How it works. I mean, it works outside of real estate too. It works in every aspect of your life. I'm telling you, it's super effective. Hands to camera, if this has been a valuable lesson this week, a valuable training, a valuable motivational session. Look, you wouldn't go out of the house without taking a shower, right? You wouldn't go to bed without taking a shower. At least once a day, you got to get cleaned up. Well, motivation's the same way. We do it once a week, but there are ways to motivate yourself every single day. If you're getting up and you're not motivated every single day, there's something wrong. Get yourself motivated. The world doesn't deserve that from you, right? You would shower, you would brush your teeth, get yourself motivated before you leave the house. Every Saturday, we're not just getting you motivated. We're also inspiring you with the right steps to take this week. This week, I want you to focus on this wealth principle, right? Just focus on this one task. What can I do? What can I do to learn, what problems can I solve? How can I fall in love with solving problems for people and getting rich doing it? How do I fall in love with it? Man, some people get scared when there's a problem. I get excited. But if somebody tells me they got an issue, I'm like, oh, cool. Excellent. Let's solve the problem. Don't do this with your girlfriend or your boyfriend. They don't like that all the time. Sometimes you just got to listen. Pro tip. If they come to you with a problem, it's not time to solve it. It's time to listen. But if you're asking if they got a problem, that shows that you care. And then you solve it later. Usually in relationships, they don't want you solving it right away. They want you to solve that later. Does that make sense? Even in this game, sometimes you have to solve it later because it shows that you were thinking about them and you had no reason to think about them. Unless the only reason that is logical is that you cared, is that you thought about their benefit was important to you. We're getting this? Cool. Awesome. Excellent. So if you are new to the company, if you're new to what we do here and you want to learn more, let's schedule a call one-on-one. If you're already in the mentorship, guys, you know how to get to me, Alchemist Nation. But if you haven't joined the mentorship and you're wondering what it's about, if it would work for you, I'm going to have, actually, I'll drop my link. I'll drop my calendar link so you can schedule a one-on-one call with me sometime this week. I want to switch it over to the coaches. And let's see. starting with, is Ryan McDermott on the call? Because I know he's got soccer, so I want to make sure we respect our parents, get them in here. Actually, most of you guys are parents. Dr. Terry Wager, you're up.
Oh, you know, I like this one because it is how pretty much all of my life is lived and my business has been built, is solving problems for other people. And the reality,
and getting rich doing it. Don't forget the important part.
Rich doing it. Yeah, for sure. And the reality is, no matter what's going on, we can't solve everyone's problems. And what we talk about at Generator is relationships, resources, results. And so the results will come when you have the resources and you have the relationships to create connections for people. And sometimes I can go in and start talking to somebody and have an answer for them. But a lot of times I don't have the answer. So the answer is, let's find out together. Let's find out who we know, who we can help, what we can do. And so, in fact, earlier today we were talking about business brokers with one of our people in here, Jamie, and what they do and how you can be of service to a business broker as a lawyer. And the reality is you have a certain set of skills. You have a certain group of people that you connect with. And this is what this community is all about. But when you have your skills.
Jamie, you are awesome. Thank you for the heads up on the recording thing.
You have a certain amount of skills. You have a certain amount of connections that other people don't have. And even if you know people, you know things about them that other people don't know. And so the biggest place that I work from is curiosity. And I start working with curiosity to explore, to experience the other person and what they're really looking for, and then do little experiments by trying things, connecting people, giving them opportunities to see how they can work together. And a lot of times, some people say that every relationship is worth money and things like that. I don't take anything out of those. I think more about the goodwill that I'm creating by connecting people. And so when you're thinking about how to solve people's problems so you can get rich, forget about the money. That's on the backside of things. That's something that will come if you're doing it well. Just connect people. Think about what's in front of you. Explore what they're looking for. Talk to them about what they're really looking for, because like Walter said, 2 or 3 whys under, you get to a real answer. Well, I want money isn't a real answer. Why do you want the money? Why do you want that? And when you start digging deeper and deeper, you start to really understand what they're looking for. And this is what Steve Sims is really good at. And we have a couple of different people in this community that are Steve Sims level of blue fishing, so to speak. And so the idea that we got to get through our heads is remove the scarcity, think about the abundance, and how can you provide for other people what they don't have.
I love that. Let's give Dr. Terry Wager a round of applause. It's the truth. And when I say so you can get rich, I just want to emphasize this is your planning stage, right? You've got to start thinking about serving people so you can get rich. Now, when you're out there serving people, it's not about the money. Does that make sense? You're out there, so just help people, just get the job done, do whatever it takes to serve them. But if you don't, like Mitch Jorsky's always saying, you got to organize and collect. If you don't set up a way, you don't organize a way for you to collect, you're just going to go out and do a lot of work. You've got to identify who to serve, who you're best fitted to serve, who you can serve to the maximum level, and a structure for them to pay you. You've got to have a way for them, an organized way for them to pay you. And a perfect example of the mentorship, I was getting checks in the mail because I was teaching people and coaching people for free, and people were sending me checks because I didn't have a way to pay, for them to pay me. They didn't even know how much to pay me. Some people were really overpaying. Does that make sense? Or at least that was my perception. I was like, damn, a little more than I expected, considering we just had a quick conversation. So we created a structure that made sense, that made it easy for somebody to be like, hey, you know what? I want to take this time of yours, so I will pay you money so I can get that. When we created that structure, it released pressure in the marketplace. and the market was able to flow in a direction. It was like having a dam up before. And a lot of investors, I'm not saying anybody in this room, but a lot of investors may have a wall up right now that's stopping money from flowing to you. That's blocking money because you haven't cut out the hole for it to flow through, a channel for it to flow through. Do you know why we set up dams? Dams are set up to generate electricity, right? If you didn't set up all the electricity generating systems behind it, the dam just holds back water. It's just pretty, right? That's no more than a fountain, right? So you don't want to just be pretty when you're out there serving people. You also want to be able to do it for the long term. Like with the mentorship, if I offered the mentorship for free, eventually I'd get burned out and I wouldn't have time to go and do it. But because it actually makes money, it's profitable, I'm able to hire other people. In fact, I've got a bunch of virtual assistants on the call right now. Let's give my VAs a round of applause. They do amazing. I have a bunch of people who can help support us to build the mission, to build courses, to invite people in, because it's profitable. Does that make sense? So of course you should be doing something you're passionate about. Of course. You should be doing something that's good and beneficial for the world. You should be serving people. Absolutely. But if it's not profitable, you won't be doing it for very long. Does that make sense? We're getting this. Yes, it must be profitable. But when you're out there talking to people, it's not about the money. Let's get the job done. All right. Mitch Jorsky, you're up.
Yes, sir. So, within everything you just said and Terry said, there's something that I kind of took away and is probably good for everyone else. And it's that make sure when you're doing this, that you are basically kind of clear and it's uncomplicated, because as Doug always says, a confused mind says no. And it's true. It's like, what problem are you solving? How are you solving it? And like, that's it. Don't make it any more complicated than that. Don't be like, oh, I also do this and this and this. It's like, no, this is your pain point. I know how to solve that problem. This is how we solve that problem. Get on board. Let's keep it moving. And by doing that, it's more efficient for both you and anyone that you serve. So it's something I try and keep in mind, because I probably have a bad habit of overcomplicating things, when just keep it simple, stupid, the KISS method. So something to keep in mind. And you are not wrong about the whole organizing and collect thing. Every week I'm trying to grow, and I feel like every week I have almost like a confession in terms of a lesson I've learned, right? So it doesn't matter how successful you are, you're continually growing. Like, what is that? To quote Shawshank Redemption, you get busy living or get busy dying, right? So you're basically growing that whole time. And my accountant, out of all people, called me out. He's like, dude, your tagline is literally organize and collect. He's like, and all I do is watch you forget the collect part over and over and over. He's like, you just help people and connect people and do things and don't end up setting up the collect part. And I was like, well, not on everything. He's like, but on a lot of things. And I was just like, shit, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And so, if you're going to serve people, as Walter said, make sure you organize that and also have a method to collect. Because if you don't, you know what's going to happen? You're actually going to start becoming bitter, because you're going to feel like people are just taking from you, and you're going to get drained. And life's not fun that way. So make sure you both organize and collect, because serving people is an awesome thing. Helping people is an awesome thing. But at the same time, your time is valuable and worth something as well. So you want to feel valued as well, because if you don't, then you're not going to feel motivated to help as many people. So that's my 2 cents.
Let's give Mitch Jorsky a round of applause. The Crypto Cat. Awesome. Doug McGurk, you're up.
Thank you. So brilliant as always. And I want to also point out some of the 2 things that both Terry and Mitch brought to the table as well, and of course Walter's been hitting on it this whole time, is the relationship with this energy and the state that you are in. So if you heard Terry, he said, I approach everything with a state of curiosity, not desperation, not fear, not anxiety, not, thinking, oh, what if they say no, but genuine curiosity about what that person is. So fall in love with also not just solving people's problems, but just people. Just asking, just get curious. And to Mitch's point, I've had moments like that as well, where I have tons of relationship capital, but haven't utilized it. So again, it's one of those things. It's okay to also ask, but the challenge is that this is where, you know, we want to get into that mindset of givers gain, right? So just be in that mindset of adding value. And to Walter's point, and Terry as well, is about making those connections. That's fun. Like to actually like go to a networking event and don't talk about yourself at all. Try it. Now, you will at one point. I'm saying start with this, because what do most people do? They'll say, oh, you know, what do you do? And then you tell them. Well, don't. Say, like, this is what I say. I say, enough about me. Tell me about you. And then I learn who they are, what they're looking for, and then start immediately connecting them. Like immediately at the networking event, like right there, go, I got somebody for you, and text them. Like make that connection right there, so that what'll happen is, and this is now it's going back into, like, you'll learn this at Masters of Influence, is law of reciprocity. What happens is when you share, when you do give to somebody, what is that person automatically going to instinctually want to do? Give back. They're going to want to reciprocate. So think in those terms. Think about your relationship with the action of meeting people and learning about them, not about solving their problems exclusively, because that might be that may be a block for you. You may go, I don't know how to solve those problems. Think in terms of, who could I connect them with? Who do I know in my resource? Because I'm not going to solve everyone's problems. I may be able to have a resource to help solve their problems. But brilliant as always. Love you guys. Great job. All right. And we'll see you at Master of Influence.
Let's give Doug McGurk a round of applause. I'm so glad you remembered to mention Master of Influence. I have no idea how I didn't say something earlier. So that event is for people who are looking to increase conversion, increase the amount of success that they get in every conversation that they do at all times, by getting your mind right and getting you the right frames, giving you the right strategies and the right mental tools, so that you wake up with confidence, you stop procrastination, and you're more motivated every day. Hence the camera, if we could all use that, if that's something true, we could all use a little bit of that. So Master of Influence, Dorena did do a price reduction. We'll call it a value deal, something along those lines, because we hit our target number for people in the event. And so she was able to make a better deal for everybody going forward. Is that something you'd be interested in? Find out what the price is. Excellent. And by the way, let's give everybody who signed up for Mastery a round of applause, because if it wasn't for you, ladies and gentlemen, this deal wouldn't be available for other people. So right now, the previous price of this event was $5,000, which for many people seems like a chunk. And Dorena then reduced it to $3,500 because we hit our target. And we had a final price reduction, final opportunity price. I don't know how to say it, right? I have one word I'm not allowed to say, and I'm just like dancing around that word.
Yeah, don't say it.
Yeah, I almost.
No.
And now the new opportunity offering is $2,000 for a 3-day event. We learn NLP, learn hypnosis, and you'll learn how to use it on social media. So I'll be actually teaching the social media piece. Who's seen me go from 1,500 followers to 8,000 followers over the last 3 months? Has anybody caught that? Yo, so you are paying attention. Excellent. That's from using NLP in my social media, from setting myself up correctly so I'm in the right frame and I understand what my audience is looking for, and then putting it out consistently. That consistency comes from NLP, comes from setting those frames, those models. So it's definitely a powerful tool if anybody's looking to increase the amount of influence they have, increase the amount of income they have. By the way, I get a lot more likes, comments, and shares. That's true. But I also get a lot more people asking me for my services, asking me for my lending services, asking me for my deal services, for my agency services, for mentorship. There's a lot more opportunities because there's a lot more people who know about Walter Amarillo. Does that make sense? Wouldn't that be nice if that happened for you as well? man, it doesn't stop there. It just keeps going. So Master of Influence, be there or be square. That's February 4th to the 6th. It is coming up. Time to book your hotels, time to book your flights. And if you haven't already paid for the ticket, time to have a conversation with Darina. Darina, can you drop your link? You already did. All right. No, that's my link. So, oh yeah, I can take the calls. All right. If you want to go to Master of Influence, drop my link. I'll have that conversation also. That's cool. Darina is traveling this week, so I'm picking up the slack. Let's see. Who else do I have? Who did I not call on? The great Michael Shine. You're up.
All right, Walter. So, so since I've been in this community, I've been able to meet with a lot of very successful people because of connections. I mean, first of all, Doug knows everybody. It's just amazing. And he knows Bob Berg, who's the Go Giver, which is a great, great book. We do a mastermind with Ken Walls, and Ken also knows a billionaire that Walter and I get to speak to by the name of Rami. And what I noticed from all of those people is that they give. That's what they do. They look to find a way. Even Ken Walls was talking to me. I was in a Walmart. I'm like, oh my God, Ken Walls is talking to me. This is the craziest shit ever. And he was asking me, what can I do for you? And so it just reminded me of the Jim Rohn quote. So I just want to read it. You can have everything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want out of life. So that's really what this all means to me, is that if you spend your time not focusing on what you can get out of things, but how you can help other people, then you'll end up getting everything you want anyway. So that's what I got.
Let's give Michael Shine a round of applause. That is the truth. And since you brought it up, I forgot that I interviewed Bob Berg. So I interviewed Bob Berg on the podcast, episode 135. So definitely go check it out. If you haven't already given a positive review for Alchemist Nation on iTunes, please. I'm just asking, with two hands saying, please, positive review only. Thank you very much. Give yourselves a round of applause for showing up. I do want to open it up to questions. Questions for everybody who is hanging out, who we brought into the room. Anybody, you can load up the chat. We're going to hang out for like 10 minutes. And then I know everybody else has busy things that they got to go do this week. Yes, Cam, if you got things you're doing this weekend, like taking action on this week's wealth principle. Awesome. So let's open it up. First to unmute gets to go first. Ask your questions. This is your oh, hold on. Russian princess. Darina.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Caroline, I'm here full speed. So I'm going to go quick because I know we only have a couple minutes for Q&A. This wealth principles really connects with the book of the week, Blue Fishing, because sometimes we limit our thinking to the way, oh, I can, who am I to help that person? Or I don't have this or this or that. And ask yourself a question like, what is possible for you, or why not this step? Like, for example, if you when you read this book or listen to this book, the subtitle of it, making things possible. Like, what is it that you are blocking in yourself that you cannot like move forward? So go after it. And I have a quote. I want to like just read it real fast for you because it kind of changed my life to this principle, because before I was like, oh, I'm not nobody yet to do this big deal or a big thing or call that person or have this guy booked on the podcast. And the quote is, your attitude is a major factor in all the outcomes of your life. So how you think about, approach, and how you feel your life and your value, that will really, really make a big difference or not. So your attitude is a major factor in all the outcomes of your life. I'll leave you with that.
Let's give the Russian princess a round of applause. If you don't know what Darina does in our community, it is my fault also. Darina does all of the live events. Who remembers the 100 Millionaire Summit? We were all there, 100 Millionaire Summit this year. I had nothing to do with that, just so we all know. Dorena did absolutely everything. All I did was show up and speak. In fact, me and Doug probably did just as much work. So let's give Dorena a round of applause for all the live events. Master of Influence, same thing. Me and Doug are just going to go out there, look pretty, do our piece. Terry will be there as well. And like, if it wasn't for all the work she does behind the scenes, all the virtual assistants you see here who are helping us, supporting us, they're getting trained by Corinne and Dorena. They work together as a team. So one more time, let's just give Dorena a lot of love. This community would not be as tight as we are if it wasn't for her doing everything she does behind the scenes. And then same for my business partner, who I may pick on for 8% interest, like almost half a decade ago, but he has done so much work behind the scenes at Alchemist Nation with the website, with Alchemist University. There is a lot going on. Just getting the developers working, getting the links working, getting everything to happen behind the scenes, getting the email campaigns to go out right so that everybody gets notified properly. So let's give Ron Bowling a round of applause. He's not only a multimillionaire and a real estate investor, but he's like one of the smartest IT guys I've ever met. So very blessed to have him working behind the scenes with us. So, and then our coaches, our millionaires, Drew Martin also for showing up today, another millionaire, the mentors. Guys, gals, if it wasn't for you guys, paying it forward, teaching, training, and giving your information, I would have less hair than I do, right? I would have been bald a little sooner, maybe have less eyebrows. So thank you guys for all the support and paying it forward. So I do want to open it up. Let's give our coaches a round of applause. Our coaches, our mentors, a round of applause. Thank you guys for your support. All right. Now this is for the people. What is your burning question? You have an opportunity to ask millionaires, multimillionaires, a question for your business, for your personal life, whatever comes to your mind, go ahead. Just don't take off your clothes or say anything inappropriate. We are live on Facebook and there could be kids watching. Go ahead.
So I would like to, because Dorena just hit what my question was. It was like, so, you want to connect with these big name people, and it's like, well, who am I to approach this gazillionaire and ask them what it is that they want? So for those of you coaches and those of you in the Millionaire Club, how would you like for someone like me to just walk up to you and approach you and say, oh, hey, like, do you introduce yourself and then just say, what is it that you're looking for? Just trying to get more clarification on how to ask.
I can answer that. So I'll share a quick story. So a good friend of mine, super successful, he just really super successful guy, good friend of mine. And so I was talking to him. I said, we're in this group. We have a group called EGO, the Elite Gentlemen's Organization. And it's just 6 of us that get together once a month. And they're all like super high performers. And it's just a little quick mastermind. And we become very tight. And we've been doing this for over 8 years. So I was on the phone with him. And I was like, yeah, I think I've got a guy that I may want to bring in. I haven't brought anybody in because it's only starting to be open. Because unfortunately one of the members passed away, and we keep it really small. And so I back up. Let's share why I'm sharing this with you. So I tell him who it is, and it's the lead pastor at the guy that founded this church by us that we go to, and it's multiple location. He's like super successful, like has multiple businesses, doesn't take a salary, does this out of his heart. So we go to the church. I went up to him and I was like, hey Scott, love to meet. And he's already, like, we already knew obviously how successful he was and all of that. And I was like, hey, I'd love to, just like to learn about you. You want to grab lunch? And he goes, yeah, okay, sure. Here's my cell number. Let's book it. So we do it. We have lunch. We become friends, and and I didn't ask for anything. I just kind of wanted to learn about him, and so we're friends. So then I tell my friend Chip, I'm like, I'm just thinking, do you know Scott Ball? I think you guys are friends on Facebook. He goes, yeah, no, I do. I tried to meet with him. He's gonna bring his product to him. I want to see if I could get it in the church and all of that. And I just can't seem to, get with him. I said, well, all right, I'll see, we're not going to do it this month, but maybe next month, see if he's available. And I said, he's like, well, how do you know him? I said, well, I just asked him, to go to lunch. I said, he went to lunch with you? And I was like, yeah. He goes, how'd you do that? And I said, I asked him. So I'm sharing the simplicity of it because everything you just went through in your head is the opposite of what they're thinking. Most people don't just go, hey, I'd love to learn about you. You got time? You want to, grab lunch, grab coffee, grab whatever. Now, sometimes, here's the thing. They may be busy. So you also need to be persistent and just keep on them. I had the one, he was a mentor of mine for a little while until he passed away. Same thing. I booked a meeting with him. He was the founder of, he was the money behind the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. He was the money behind Lou Pearlman. Like, almost a billionaire, owned merchant banks, major, owned a whole floor of an apartment on the Upper East Side. So I called him and he's like, oh, yeah, I'd love to talk to you. I see what the stock market is doing. I got to go. Click, and hung up. And I was like, oh, I didn't call him back for years. Then I was in another place. I was like, all right, I'm going to call him back. I booked, he took him, he's like, okay, booked a meeting. He canceled. Called him back, booked a meeting. It was like a month in advance. He canceled again. Went on for 4 or 5 times before he finally took a meeting. So finally I get there and he's sitting down and he's on the phone in his Upper East Side apartment. He's on the phone. He puts up the newspaper and he points at it. And in the article was how the kid of the president of Mexico stole this property in Mexico, and he's pointing to it, and it was his property. And and then he points to it, he's like, he was on the phone with the State Department to deal with this property. So anyway, he hangs up the phone where he goes, hey, Doug, do you know why I took this meeting? I was like, no. He goes, because you didn't give up. I owed it to you. You stayed on me. You kept going. Every time I canceled, I was like, I owed it to you. And I thought I was only going to be there for a few minutes. I was there the entire day. And we just hung out, and then we became great friends. So again, I'm sharing these 2 stories, and all that was mindset. It was going in with that mindset, believing that everybody puts their pants on the same way, one leg at a time. Anytime that someone goes in with that negative, oh, they're not going to talk to me, that may be the result. If you go in with, hey, they're just a regular person and just love to get to know them and humble, but also, knowing you have something to add. But again, that meeting is only to get to know each other. What Walter's doing, what I've done as well, podcasts are a great way to do it as well, because some other people are like, okay, I may not want to sit down and talk with you for no reason, but if I'm getting a chance to get my message out there, if I'm, all you're doing is asking me questions, heck, you could even, say, hey, I'm interviewing successful people for a book. Would you mind just having a conversation, right? These are ways you could get around it. But remember, it's all up here first. Show up with that, belief that everyone's, a human being. And, when you treat them like that, that's the other thing. Sometimes people are not used to someone treating them like that.
I think to tag on with what Doug is talking about, when we're thinking about them not talking to us, we're not thinking about them. We're thinking about ourselves, and we're self-focused. And whenever we're self-focused, we're in the wrong mindset. And so we really want to be thinking about them. And time after time, when I start doing that type of thing about oh God, what are they going to think of me? I just got to reset. Why am I focused on me instead of them? How curious am I when I'm focused on me instead of them? And it's really being curious about them and how you can help them and learning about them before anything else.
Absolutely. Let's give Doug and Terry a round of applause. Master of Influence. You're going to get the Masters of Influence showing you how they do it. I see Ken Walls is live on Facebook. Ken Walls, I appreciate you, brother. If there's one person who rivals Doug McGurk and his connections, it's Ken Walls. He's friends with Grant Cardone. He just had Brian Tracy on his podcast yesterday or the day before. between Doug and Ken, I am pretty sure that I'm like one person away from just about everybody on the freaking planet between these two networkers. And like what Doug said, man, at the end, a podcast is so powerful. The podcast and what he said with the book, I've been saying for about 6 months to a year that I'm going to go and put a book together that's just called 100 Millionaires, right? The 100 Millionaires book is going to be 100 interviews that I've done with millionaires. And I'll just put everybody in there, and it'll be a book that goes out, and people will be able to read like, hey, this is how this person became successful. Here are the 3 pieces of advice. And so, if you know, that's a good project. Like, that's a really engaging piece of content. What's even cooler is everybody I've had on that podcast has an audience. So I'm able to ask them if they would promote that book to their audience, since they're also somebody highlighted in the book. Cool. Serve more people, give them what you want, you get what you want. Help more people get rich, serve more people. Awesome question. Let's give Jamie a round of applause. Great question. I love it. And for everybody who's jumping off, I don't want you to feel like you have to stay on with us. If you got other things to do, coaches, mentorship members, our VAs, feel free to hang out if you want. I'll stick around for a few more minutes. I do have a commitment with Dr. Terry Wager. I told him I would do a podcast with him every week, so he and I jump on the call. But I want to stick on for a few more minutes. I know we only answered one question, so definitely load up the chat or just unmute your mic and ask. This is your chance. And the people who don't ask questions will forever wonder, what would have happened if I just unmuted the mic and asked a question? Go ahead, Steven, you're up.
How you doing? Is it Galter?
Walter, you got it.
Right. Well, thanks for the invite with Mr. Mark Jester below, but it's like what is it? Connect Four? Right? Was it that? He looks like a big like Brady Bunch here. But what I appreciate about your platform is I come from real estate from a consulting platform. My core competency was in the legal field. I've been in the legal field for 14 years. So,
Steven, do you have something going on in the background?
Yeah, give me a second.
Yes. Because I feel like I'm translating. I'm listening to 2 conversations at once. There you go, brother. Thank you.
I got 2 different Zooms going on. My bad. So here's my thing. I like your platform. I think investing is the staple of my firm, but I take it from a consulting standpoint. I basically have a team of agents that facilitate commercial and residential transactions. I have everything, in-house as far as credit repair, financial services, in-house builder, solar energy, et cetera, et cetera. So what I want to ask you is, I want to focus mainly as an investor side on commercial, either new development or purchasing commercial, like mergers, acquisitions, like investing in businesses. What would you suggest the route to go, best route to go?
What I would suggest is you and I have a conversation. What you're looking to do is very personal.
I booked a 15-minute with you, so I'm already ahead.
Let's give Steven a round of applause. Great job, brother. It's going to depend on what your retirement plan looks like. Like, what do you want to look like in the end? So if you want to build, are you looking for billionaire status? Then businesses, right? Real estate is nice, but to become a billionaire in real estate is hefty. You're talking heavy lifting, heavy capital. To become a billionaire in business is significantly easier because all you have to do is improve sales and marketing.
If I may, let me expand then. I invested in 2 wellness companies because it fits into my business plan, because it helps me real estate. Because on the commercial side, I'm basically acquiring businesses anyway. And wellness companies, like, for example, massage parlors or medical, because I do CBD. You know, if you feel your CBD, medical marijuana, that's the new health and wellness trend, and that's what I invested in. So that's kind of what I'm looking.
Yeah, absolutely, man. There's money in those industries if obviously you know what you're doing, you put a good manager in place, and you scale the sales and the marketing. Any business can be solved. Any business problem can be solved with a little bit more sales. Just increase.
I wanted to get information in the membership. That's all. I'll get down the call.
Hell yeah. I'm also in Florida. I'm in Tampa. What part of Florida are you in?
No, I said I want to get on the call. I'm in my accent. I'm from East Coast. So on the call with you, I want to go more in depth with the membership. I'm from Baltimore originally. We do business in Florida, Texas, Georgia, and Maryland, DC.
Awesome. Excellent. Steven, I'm looking forward to it, brother. Let's give Steven Walton a round of applause. Thank you for showing up, man. I'm glad we get to connect. One more proof, ladies and gentlemen, look to serve people. Steven's looking for an opportunity to serve me. I'm looking for an opportunity to serve him. That when two people get together who want to serve each other, boom, that's where big money is made, big opportunities. Go ahead, Mike.
Ken Walls, who's on the Facebook, says he wants to be let in because he wanted to answer Jamie's question. So.
Oh, hell yeah.
I don't know if you can.
Where is
let him in
Ken?
Might be,
all right.
No, it was like 11:03. So
I can drop a link in the Facebook where he is right now for him.
Yeah, let me get him a link also. We'll take another question while we're going. What else do we have? 4 questions. And he's messaging me directly, so I'll message him right now.
I don't know if Sandra wants to talk about her project she's doing, but I spoke to Sandra Scroy this week about her thing, so you might want to see if she wants to talk about that. Sandra?
Unmute the mic. Let us know what's going on.
What's going on?
Little shameless plug.
Yes, absolutely. But we're a helping community.
Yeah. I pretty much it's private. I'll reach out. I'll reach out to people. So, or if anyone wants to reach out to me, that's probably better. Yeah. So
awesome, Sarah. What's the easiest way to get in touch with you if somebody wants to reach out and connect with Sandra Scroy?
Sandra freaking Scroy. Okay, the best way to reach out to Sandra Scroy is the chat, Facebook, Instagram, email, which is Sandra Scroy Studios. So I'll put that in the chat.
Okay, so that's a number of ways to reach you. What is the one way you want everyone to reach out to you?
Okay.
Alchemistnation.com. Go to alchemistnation.com and connect with Sandra.
Okay, we can do just Facebook, I guess, would be the best way. I'll send the link right now in chat. Hold on.
Excellent. If my eyes don't deceive me, my good friend Ken Walls just jumped into the show here. Who'd like to meet a good friend of Grant Cardone's? Yes. Would it be interesting to meet somebody who introduced me to a billionaire? Is that something that would be interesting to you? Somebody who hangs with the ballers, with the rollers? Let's give it up. Let's give Ken Walls a big round of applause.
Hey, Walter, man. Hey, I just wanted to jump on for a minute. I heard that young lady's question about meeting the super elite, I guess. First, for me, it comes, and may I speak? Do you care?
Go ahead, man. Absolutely.
Okay.
I wouldn't have invited you in if I didn't expect you to say something.
We'd be honored to hear from you.
So I invested a lot of money getting to know Grant Cardone. I put my assistant on an airplane, flew her to Miami, delivered 2 custom bottles of wine that I had made for Grant and his family, or Grant and his wife, not his kids. But I put his whole family on the labels of these wine bottles and had my young, beautiful assistant deliver them because I knew she'd get his attention. And he called me that day, and that was back in 2014. And I had a show on Grant Cardone TV after that. And I really got to know him as a person too over the years, and he's become a good friend. In fact, I'm the only person that he reached out to the day after he filmed Undercover Billionaire. And I had him on a live stream show talking about Undercover Billionaire. So I've also become business partners with Mark Victor Hansen, the #1 best-selling author in the world, with Chicken Soup for the Soul. And he's the one. So I reach out. I'm talking to Mark on the phone. This is the Brian Tracy story, because Brian Tracy is literally my hero. He's the reason I am not in prison. I'm kidding. But he's the one that set my mindset right 30 years ago, and through his program. So, you know, what I would say, the number one way to get in with super wealthy people, people who have made it, quote unquote, is learn how to serve them and their needs. And you know, like I always think when I meet somebody, how can I best serve this person? What can I do for a guy that, you know, Rami Al-Batrawi, who's a billionaire. He's been a billionaire twice. He lost it the first time. And now he's a billionaire again, lives in Beverly Hills, has the largest wide-bodied private jet in the world. And Rami texts me all the time. And it's like my mind, every time I get a text message from this guy, my mind kind of explodes because I'm like, a billionaire just texted me and said, "Hey, how you doing?" Or "Merry Christmas." He Merry Christmased me. I'm like, dude, what is going on in my life? So, you know, and it's all because, and I'm an Amazon influencer. Again, another blessing that just came through a lot of, you know, I've done over 3,000 live streams. I have a training academy on all of it. And that's how Walter knows how. I'm just kidding, but I'm kidding.
Kidding, not kidding. It was actually Charles Coachman that connected me.
I know. Charles learned everything he knows from me. I'm kidding. No, I love Charles. So, you know, the way that I do it is I just look for ways to serve my fellow man. I have an email up on my screen. I'm sending a video message to Mark Victor Hansen and Brian Tracy this morning. I'm getting ready to record a video and say, "Hey, Mark, thank you, number one, for introducing me to Brian Tracy. Brian, it was an honor for you being on my show. It was incredible. And I'd like to invite you to be on Amazon Live too, because he's written a few books. So we can get on there and sell his books." But anyway, and the other thing is stop the fear. I mean, you can't stop the fear. Like you can't. The fear is going to be there. I have fear every single day of my life. Grant Cardone told me, he's like, "Bro, I wake up scared to death every morning. Like I'm going to lose all my shit." And I'm like, dude, I get that. Like, I get it. The more that you do, the more you accumulate, the more relationships you develop, the more you start worrying about, like, am I going to say the wrong thing to Mark Victor Hansen? He's going to destroy me online or something, or, you know, and the bottom line is we're making all that stuff up. It's not real. I do it anyway. Like I'm working on, I already know Bob Proctor's going to be on my show. And so I'm working on some follow-up stuff with him or his assistant, to make that happen. I'm working on some other even bigger names than the ones I've mentioned so far. So, and I don't let fear, I have Trump's cell phone number. I mean, I don't let fear get in my way. I just pick up the phone and call them, or I'll send them a message or whatever. So that's all. I just wanted to say, just do it. Just so cliche, but freaking just do it. Just pick up the phone, send them a message. I had some dude in where it's in Africa, you know, the prince that sends all the money. What's that country that they
Zimbabwe? Zimbabwe?
I don't know, somewhere. But I had a guy ask me to come. What is it?
Zamunda?
That's funny.
Nigeria. Alan just put in there. Nigeria. I had a guy from Nigeria ask me to come and speak to 600 schools or something like that so I've already thought, all right, which one of you knows the prince that owes me $2 million? That's how I'm going to open it up. But anyway, like, you just got to put yourself out there. You got to stomp on the freaking gas. I remember one time I had all of these issues with people in my company working for me, and I had to get rid of them. They were cancerous. And I remember talking to Grant Cardone about it, and he's like, "Dude, just cut them." I'm like, "Bro, like, it'll leave me with one person in the company if I cut all these 5 other people." And he goes, "Good, get rid of them now." And so I did, and it felt like my entire world was crumbling because they handled so many things. And he called me and he goes, "Hey, congrats, man." I'm like, congrats. Hell's like raining down on me right now. And you're congratulating me. And he's like, dude, my mom used to say, when you're going through hell, stomp on the gas. And so, you know, like you just got to do it, man. I'm telling you, I don't care who you are. I don't care what your ethnicity is. I don't care what your background is, where you are on the socioeconomic scale, does not matter. You have to just face your fear, know you're going to have it, and freaking stomp on the gas and do it anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, valuable. Let's give Ken Walls a round of applause. Ken, thank you for jumping in with us, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Keep connecting us, man. I appreciate it. For everybody who's here, Doreen and I have been looking at this 100 Millionaire Summit this year and say, okay, 1,000 people in the room. How are we going to do it? How are we going to do it? So every week that I jump into Ken Wall's mastermind, I ask the same question. I'm like, so how do I do it? Like, who's got the people to connect me with? How do I get 1,000 people in the room? And every week, you know, I'm getting some new piece of information. Every week I've got some new idea. And like, that's the power of masterminds. You know, each one of you, even within this community, it's some level of a mastermind, but you can build your accountability with somebody. You know, make sure that, you know, throughout the rest of this week, you're finding the people you want to serve. In our mastermind, we're always looking to serve each other. In this community, we're looking to serve each other. Hands to the camera if you know all of the problems you have, somebody else can solve them. Every problem you have, there's somebody who has a solution for that problem. Yes. And I guarantee you, every problem you have, there's somebody who actually likes solving your problems. Guarantee it. I used to think, man, being a real estate agent sucks. It's tough work, until I hired a team of 25 real estate agents who are thankful for all the leads I was sending them. Thankful. Like, they were like, man, like, can you send me more? Holy shit. I couldn't stand all the leads I was getting. I couldn't stand all the people I was working with. Not to say I don't love working with people, but man, like, it gets old. One house is 1,000 houses, right? So in your business, whatever you don't like, I had the same conversation with Melanie, right? Melanie is a multimillionaire and she sometimes forgets her own power. She's like, man, like, why would anybody want to do this? It's like, Melanie, you started at the bottom. Remember starting at the bottom? She was slicing sandwiches at Subway. Now she owns the freaking Subways, but she forgets, you know, that somebody at some point might want to be a manager of a Subway. Hands to the camera if you get this, right? So it's oh, look at Dorena. There she is. Two beautiful millionaires on the same camera. So ladies and gentlemen, if we didn't get to any of your questions, alchemistnation.com, send me a message on there. Send me or any of the millionaires a message. I want to say thank you for everybody who jumped in. Drew Martin, Ken Walls, coaches, Mike Shine, Ron Bowling, Dr. Terry Wager, Ryan McDermott, I think jumped off. Mitch Jorsky jumped off. And where's the other one? Doug, the great Doug McGurk. And for everybody who is here, your commitment to your success, your commitment to you becoming a millionaire is the biggest gift you can do for me. I get asked all the time, how can I help? Let's focus on you first, right? Once you got your million, once you understand how the game is played, then we can play together on bigger projects. We can go out and do bigger things. But you are the most important thing. In your family, you're the most important thing, right? You can't feed your kids if you're not okay. Does that make sense? So we got to work on you first. You know, allow me to pay it forward. Allow me to, you know, give you an opportunity and be here to guide you. And then I'm just going to ask, once you got yours, help me go help some others get theirs. We agree? This is a good deal? All right. And for anybody who has questions about the mentorship, shoot me a text or jump into that link that I said. If you're already in the mentorship, you know how to get me. Cheers to your success. We have a choice. Always work with the best. I appreciate you guys. Let's go have a powerful week. Thanks again, everybody. You rock.
Everyone.
Later.
The best.
The best. Dr. Terry, shoot me a text with your Zoom link. I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.
Good job, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Thanks, Ken.
Good
Peace.
seeing you, Josh.
Thanks,
Good seeing
Ken.
you, Lisa. Bye, Julie.
Thanks, Walter.
Julie, I got your number next week. Next week, you're giving a little testimonial. I love your fire, woman.
I love Julie Bradley.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Bye, everybody.
Later, Mike. Hope you're feeling better, man.
I'll send you a link in email if you don't have it.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks. Later.